Verse of the day. Continuation from Video 1. Lessons on humility and service. Embracing a servant's heart. In a world that often celebrates fame and fortune, Psalm 84 verse 10 turns the spotlight on humility and service. It reminds us that the highest honor is not found in how many accolades we can collect, but in the willingness to serve. Being a doorkeeper, while it may sound less glamorous than, say, a CEO, is a beautiful metaphor for putting others before ourselves. After all, every great leader has a team of doorkeepers behind them, those who support and uplift, often unnoticed but always essential. Finding joy in humble positions. Let's be honest, nobody dreams of being a doorkeeper at a party. But what if we flip that narrative? Psalm 84 verse 10 invites us to find joy in humble positions, showing us that true fulfillment often lies in the little things. Whether it's helping a neighbor, volunteering at church, or simply holding the door for someone, these acts of service can bring unexpected joy. The divine joy in serving reminds us that even the smallest roles can hold the greatest significance. Application of Psalm 84 verse 10 in daily life. Integrating spiritual practices into daily routines. Integrating spiritual practices into our day can feel like fitting a square peg into a round hole, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Whether it's prayer during your morning coffee or a moment of gratitude before bed, Psalm 84 verse 10 encourages us to sprinkle our routines with reminders of God's presence. By creating these little rituals, we can transform mundane moments into sacred experiences, making even the most ordinary days feel extraordinary. Creating sacred spaces in everyday life. Creating sacred spaces doesn't require a fancy altar or a retreat in the mountains. Think of it as carving out your own personal Zen den. It could be a cozy corner of your living room with a candle, a peaceful garden nook, or even a designated spot in your car for quiet reflection. Psalm 84 verse 10 nudges us to find beauty and divinity in these spaces, reminding us that we can encounter God anywhere, even in our living rooms covered with laundry. Reflections on worship and community. The role of community in worship. Worship isn't just a solo gig. It's a community concert. Psalm 84 verse 10 reminds us of the power of coming together, where our individual worship experiences blend into something greater. In community, we share burdens, celebrate joys, and uplift one another. Remember, if you're ever feeling like your worship playlist is getting stale, simply look around. Your community can add the harmony you didn't know you needed. Building a supportive spiritual network. Building a supportive spiritual network is like assembling your very own squad of spiritual superheroes. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, challenge you to grow, and share laughter in the process. Psalm 84 verse 10 encapsulates the idea that when we gather in God's presence, whether virtually or over coffee, there's a synergy that can't be replicated. Encouragement to seek God's presence daily. Practical steps for daily devotion. Daily devotion doesn't have to involve hours of sitting in silence, though that can be lovely too. Start small. Set a timer for 5 minutes of reflection. Read a verse during your lunch break, or listen to a spiritual podcast while tackling the laundry. Psalm 84 verse 10 encourages us to actively pursue God, and with regular practice, it can become as natural as brushing our teeth, minus the minty taste. The impact of regular spiritual engagement. When we engage regularly with our spirituality, we begin to transform from a casual acquaintance with God into a full-blown relationship. Psalm 84 verse 10 emphasizes that being in God's presence enriches our lives in ways we can't always quantify. The impact is akin to that friend who makes every hangout better. More laughter, deeper conversations, and a lasting sense of connection. Regular engagement fuels our souls, providing strength, clarity, and an abundance of grace for the tough times. In conclusion, Psalm 84 verse 10 serves as a powerful reminder of the immense value and joy found in God's presence. Whether through humble service or moments of worship, prioritizing our relationship with God enriches our lives in ways that nothing else can. As we strive to seek His presence daily, let us embrace the lessons of humility and community, understanding that even the smallest acts in His house hold profound significance. May we cultivate a heart that longs to dwell in His courts, cherishing each moment spent in spiritual connection. Wish you all a very blessed and a joyful Thursday. Nazarene.